Rich Wallet, are you ready for the summer? Rich Wallet, are you ready to have a good time? Listen, guys, for years I bought a money clip from 7-Eleven and it broke a bunch of times. Yeah. It's the worst. I've been praying for a new wallet and a miracle happened. We got contacted by this company called Ridge Wallet. Now, if you look right here, all right, I have all my credit cards here. This protects you from what do you call the theft? RFID theft. It fits perfectly here. It has a money clip in the back, right? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
You're gonna be so jealous. Can I show you?
Yeah.
Look at my color.
I know. I was gonna.
I want that one too.
Yeah, I love that one.
Bobby got the carbon fiber one.
Right. Tell them about this stuff, man. Ridge Wallet. This is new for us,
guys. Go to ridgewallet.com and use the promo code TigerBelly for 10% off. Insert any catchphrase Bobby used. So you can use the social papaya. I'm just kidding. Just go to TigerBelly for 10% off. That's ridgewallet.com, promo code TigerBelly.
It's offered in carbon fiber, titanium, and aluminum, all right?
And it comes with this little screw. Look.
What's so funny?
Gilbert read my note to him.
Gilbert wrote a note.
What was a note?
Insert any catchphrase Bobby used. But
I was assuming you'd say something about slim and
oh yeah, what is it?
Yeah, slim, slick, and
delicious.
And delicious.
Ridge Wallet.
Ridge Wallet. Yeah. Honestly though, guys, this is the slickest piece of wallet I've ever seen.
Piece of wallet.
And guys, I really think that you should look it up, man. This is great stuff. Rich Wallet, are you ready for the summer?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ay, kapayan tukundo sa bakinde habalolo. Welcome to another episode of TigerBelly. I'm Uncle Chicken Chop. That's my new name now this week, dude. Uncle Chicken Chop.
How'd you get that?
Fighter and the Kid. They gave it to me. Brendan Schaub. I call him Shoulders. You know why? Because whenever I see him, that's all I see is gigantic shoulders. He's got Bane's neck.
Oh, man.
We also have a beautiful woman next to me. Her name was, what's her name? Khalyla, my girlfriend. We got in a fight today, man. It was crazy.
Ooh.
You know, I talked to her, and you know what? It's like I talked to her in a bad way, and I want to apologize on ground level.
On
to
who? To the audience?
Yeah,
or
to the audience. Not to you. I refused to. I refused.
Let me tell you guys something.
Oh my
the
God.
whole day I've been waiting for an apology. This is the first time I've actually
On
heard
air?
of a sort of apology.
I refuse to look at her and apologize because I don't know.
He talks to me. You know how we're in a room.
We have a guest, babe. By the way.
I know.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, we have a guest, by the way, but okay. We'll get it out later.
Okay, we'll get it out
at the end. We'll get it out. All right.
Yeah.
I want to introduce everyone in the room. We got Gilbert. I like your Hawaiian shirt.
Thank you.
Is it new or what is it?
It's new. I saw yours and I was like, okay.
Oh, you're a hack.
Same brand?
You're a fashion hack.
Yeah, I'm a biter.
We got George, whatever, and we got Thin Lips. I love him. JJ. We have a very special guest. Listen, I too am a fan of podcasts. I listen to them. Mm-hmm. And when I do long road trips, sometimes when I go to sleep, I listen to one and only, one called Sword and Scale. It's literally one of my favorites. And we have the creator and the host here.
Hi, how you doing?
No, I didn't say your name. Yeah, I didn't say your name.
Hi.
Yeah, don't go hi.
I'll back up.
I have to start over now. That's the portion. All right, so anyway, sometimes when I do long trips, real long trips, and I go to bed at night, I listen to this thing called Sword and Scale. It's about different kinds of murders. And we have the host and the creator here, Mike Boudet. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Yeah.
Mike, how are you?
Is it okay to say hi now?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How you guys been?
God, you have a pinto bean face. I love it.
I have a bean face.
Yes.
Wow.
Because you're Cuban, correct?
I am Cuban.
Yeah.
Well, my parents are Cuban. I was born in the States, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm Korean, but I'm an American as well.
That's right. We're all
to meet you.
Americans.
You guys are bonding.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. We met before.
I know we have.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Another thing about you is that when you smile, it makes me so happy. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you have, like you and Khalyla have the same.
Gaps.
I love gaps.
You know, I'm getting the teeth fixed.
No,
don't do that.
Don't do it. No, I love it.
I got that Smile Direct Club thing coming.
Why? You look good that way.
I don't know.
You don't like it? You're self-conscious about it?
I am self-conscious about it.
What else are you self-conscious about your body?
My Cuban heritage. Thanks for bringing that up.
I know you are. Now let me say something, man. Sword and Skill, if you don't know what it is, it's basically it's crimes and specifically serial killers and mass murders and just weird things of that. It's in that world. Mm-hmm. And what I love about Sword and Skill is that they have things in it that I'm not aware of. Mm-hmm. You know, you have ones that are remarkable and crazy, and I'll give you an example. That one HBO documentary, what was it called?
Mommy, Dad, and Dearest.
Mommy, Dad, and Dearest.
We heard about that.
I heard about it from yours
podcast.
before they even came out with that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm aware of a lot of things. And how did that start?
How did that story start?
I don't know how did you?
Tell me the origins
You're
of the
a
story.
fucking cocksucker right now, man. You don't be a fucking asshole about it. You know exactly what the fuck I was doing. You piece of shit. Now go ahead. How did you were working at a what?
I was in marketing. I was
Yeah.
in a desk job in a cubicle with the fluorescent lighting and the self-loathing that comes along with
Right.
that.
I can only imagine.
For like 20 something years. It was like 2 decades plus, and I was actually very good at my job, but I wanted to get the hell out of it.
Of course.
Do something creative.
Yeah.
You get a real rush out of doing something creative and feeling proud of it, like
Yeah.
I did this. This is mine. Even if nobody listens to it. It's nice to feel that.
So what was the first one like? You just kind of got the equipment, or what happened?
Well, I did like 3 other podcasts beforehand that were terrible. And it took me a while to figure out what the subject matter was going to be that I wanted to talk about. And when I finally figured that out, I was in a point in my life where I was so depressed and just at the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah.
And literally drinking myself
Into oblivion.
On my birthday, sitting at home alone.
Whoa.
While hating every aspect of my life. And it just came somehow it just like this epiphany came to me that I love true crime. I love true crime TV.
Yeah.
And there was nothing at the time that resembled anything like Sword and Scale.
Wow. Yeah. That's one of the things that attracted me to it, because it's like there wasn't a lot of options, and it's one of those things where I don't know why, but I've always been fascinated by it. And that's only a specific kind of human being, I think, is, right?
I think a lot of people are fascinated because of the fact that it says something about us. Like, what is it that can turn someone into this monster? And is that inside of each one of us? And the answer is yes, probably.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, let me ask you something. I mean, okay, if I had someone's gene, like let's say I was Jeffrey. If I was Jeffrey Dahmer, I had his genes. I was born in the environment he was born in, and I had the same kind of life experiences. Obviously, I would have probably done the same thing he did. Mm-hmm. But the fabric of who I am from my parents, from the way I was raised, there's no way.
Well, everybody knows that you're a very well-adjusted human being, so there's that.
No, I'm not, and I'm not saying. You fucking son of a bitch again. You
Cuban.
You fucking piece of shit. No, Mike. What I'm saying though, yeah, I have my frailties, and I'm Uncle Chinga Chop. Uncle Chinga Chop there's a lot of things that are going on. All right, but my point is that, I don't know if I could ever resort to. I could kill somebody out of self-defense, right? If somebody killed Khalyla, I could probably kill that person. But in terms of like scoping out, and like when you first came in here, the first thing out of your mouth was, you want to see a picture of a dead body?
Yep.
Which is not, which is weird, right? When you greet somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Shouldn't be the second or third thing that you say.
How was your day?
Yeah, how's your family?
Yeah.
I like your place. It's a little cold, hot, whatever the weather. But this could do it straight up. You want to see a picture of a dead body? And of course I said yes.
Yeah.
And it was gruesome. Really gruesome. But I can't imagine myself that I could ever do that. Could you?
Most people can't imagine themselves doing it, but that there's this sort of darkness, the seed of darkness inside, which, given the right circumstances, the right sort of cultivation, can flourish into a monster.
Wow. That's really crazy to think about. So what you're saying is this, okay?
Now, I have a jaded view because I'm from Florida. So
you guys are the masters of it.
I grew up in the middle of that, in the middle of psychopathy.
It's either Florida or Wisconsin. Wisconsin has some good ones.
Too?
Wisconsin?
Really?
Well, not Wisconsin, like the state. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's from, right? He did all his killing there.
Yeah. Well,
And then you have the king, Geen.
Is he from Wisconsin?
There's not a lot to do in Wisconsin, so maybe murder is one of those things.
Yeah. But are those two guys? That's where that was their playground.
Yeah, but you know the thing is too, we don't tell a lot of stories about these serial killers. That's like an extreme part of the scale. So we tell a lot of stories about just regular everyday people,
Right?
who somehow turn into these things that don't resemble human beings anymore.
Right, like that teenager who in Florida who
Was it
threw a
Florida?
party and
Tyler Hadley.
Yeah.
Well, you know their names.
Well, some of the a lot
You
of the
remember
stories,
their
I
names?
remember the names. Yeah.
Tyler Hadley.
Tyler Hadley. He was a teenager who wanted to throw a party, and he ended up killing his parents so he could throw a party.
Let me
in
guess
Yeah.
to see what he did. He took.
We
let me.
heard this
I know,
episode.
but I don't remember all that. He took a mallet of some sort or a hammer.
a hammer.
He
Claw
went
hammer.
into his mother's room when she was sleeping.
No, the mother. It's one of these. It's one of these. You know the homes where they have the shared computer in the middle of the living room or
sure.
kitchen area, kind
I
of.
love those homes.
Yeah, that's a sure sign of a psychopath lives in one of those homes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just on the computer checking her email or whatever, and he's like standing behind her for like a full 2 minutes.
Yeah.
just about to do it.
Is it stepmom or biological? I don't remember.
Biological mom.
Wow.
Yeah, and then his dad comes in after when he hears the commotion because
Yeah.
he's just in the next room.
Yeah.
and then he claw hammers him to death. And he's a big guy too.
Didn't he have friends who kind of like went along with it, or like a friend who was like, "All right, I guess."
No, what happened was he had the party.
He has the party.
Yeah.
Right, and people walked into that room, right or no?
No, he somewhere along the way of the party, like he's not having a good time at the party for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, probably because
Well,
he
I
just
wonder
killed
why.
both his
Maybe kind of liquor, or don't want somebody didn't bring the ecstasy.
Snacks.
But at some point he just starts to confess to a buddy of his that
Yeah.
at the party that this is what he did. And at first the friend doesn't believe him, but then he kind of like starts showing him some signs of blood in the hallway and stuff like that, and he starts to go, "Oh wait, this actually really happened."
The party must go on.
I mean,
The thing
maybe it was a really good party.
there is, but can we at least admit this? There's got to be something. Let me ask: is there something wrong with the mind? Like he has some sort of disease or something? What's going on there?
I get in a lot of trouble for this.
You do for
Yeah.
really?
Let me guess.
Yeah.
It's because people say 99 point something % of people who are mentally ill are not violent, are blah blah blah.
Oh, we all know
Is that what they say?
that.
Right. No, but you have to state that every time you talk about one of these cases.
I see.
Apparently.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. But yeah, it's true.
Let
I
me
mean,
say something right now. Can I just say something right now? And I'm going to say, because I'm not, in that world, all right? But if like, oh, excuse me. I just farted. Excuse me. I got to turn my phone off. If Koreans,
Yeah.
I'm Korean, right? If Koreans, like, if most of the cases of like, human beings are shitting in people's mouths when they're sleeping.
Okay.
But it was 99.9% of them were Korean dudes.
Okay.
Right? I would have to say, you know what? Yeah, that's our thing. Or that's what we do. Right or no?
Cultural.
Yeah, if somebody said that, right? Oh, yeah, it's probably a Korean dude. I wouldn't be offended. I go, yeah, it is Korean dudes.
Statistics. Yeah.
Yeah, so why, is it a fact?
Wait, I don't think you're understanding the statistic correctly.
Yes, I am. No, like, here's my logic. Here's my logic. Just listen. No,
All Koreans listening to
no,
this
no,
like, what the
listen.
fuck, Bobby?
What I'm saying is this. Serial killers and all these things that happen at this level, right,
Yeah.
are generally done by people with mental problems, right? If that's the case, why can't we just say that? If all the shitting in the faces were done by Koreans, why can't you just say it's Koreans? Now, does that make sense?
Because to have mental illness is such a big. You go from
Oh, let's get
something
specific then.
as like manic depression all the way to like paranoid schizophrenia, or like all the way to the big.
I'm saying it. You're not in trouble, all right? I'm gonna get in trouble for this, all right? So let's just.
The Korean community.
no, but I think that's the other thing too. Like it's almost like being part of a little club. It's like a little clique, and people love to be in clubs or tribes or cliques, and it's like, oh, you're talking about the mentally ill, but everybody's mentally ill. Everybody suffers from some sort of depression or anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's not like you belong in a special group. I mean, it's everyone, but we're talking about a very select group within that group.
Really mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like extreme cases of mentally ill.
Psychopathy, like
Psychopathy. So why can't we just say that?
Yeah, that's
I don't know why it's so offensive to people?
Maybe explain the Korean shit in the mouth one more time.
Or I will.
Okay, please.
I will. Okay, I will. All right.
Speaking of Koreans,
No, I'm not done. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
all right?
please do.
So, let's suppose, right, that all over the world, right, people are waking up with shit on their face.
Oh, everyone. Just
Yeah, just random people,
People.
in India, everywhere.
there's like
Right?
CNN is like there was a reports,
Right, they're just,
reports.
it's just a thing. No, it's just a thing that happens.
It's an epidemic.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's something that happens throughout time. Even
Okay.
it's in history books, right? That people just wake up with other people's shit on their face,
like a brown splat.
and 99.9% of them are done by Koreans, right? So if somebody, if you hear about, you hear about Joe, he got shit on his face when he woke up,
Yeah.
and then somebody said, yeah, probably a Korean dude.
Yeah.
Why Koreans have no? Why would they? Should they get offended if it's done by them? Am I getting in trouble for this?
I don't know. This is
No.
interesting. Your mind
Am
gets.
I not? Am I?
I'm happy you're saying Koreans because I was hoping, like, I was pretty sure you'd say like.
Filipino.
Well, when I say Korean, I mean Filipinos.
Okay.
That's what. And when people are listening right now, they know that's what I mean. Right? It's you
you
specifically, you and your people.
I don't know what normally happens in this home, but
Khalyla shits in Bobby's mouth.
Yeah. All right, so let's forget it. Let's let go of the mental. But I'm just saying though that it's and I think that I know that probably all people have a curiosity about it. But like I know that like when I showed Jordan Peele a video of somebody getting murdered a long time ago, he didn't talk to me for a year.
And
Wow.
another thing that I learned from your podcast was that people unknowingly can develop PTSD from like looking at things like children, say for instance, like remember what's in Luka Magnotta,
Yeah.
like looking at those videos online of people getting beheaded and whatnot.
yeah. In that Luka Magnotta podcast, there was this one YouTube video of reaction videos because I show the reaction videos of people seeing the murder.
Yeah.
You do? Where can we see that?
Oh my God. See,
You
here
got
you
so
go.
excited.
Well, they're all YouTube videos.
They're just reaction videos.
No, I want to
reaction.
see the reaction. I don't want to see the video. I
Okay,
want to see
yeah.
the
Yeah,
reaction.
you could still find them.
Yeah.
But when I first started working on the story, there was one reaction video that I really wanted to use, and then it just got taken down right before I could grab it.
Yeah.
It was a little 4 or 5-year-old British boy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And his little voice was like, it's so proper and so
Yeah.
cute and so proper. And
Yeah.
he's talking about like what he's watching, and I've seen the video.
Yeah.
And it's really, really incredibly disturbing. It's so disturbing that it
Let's
looks.
explain to the people listening
Yeah.
who that person is.
Luka Magnotta was this Canadian in his early 20s, I believe, who really wanted to be a star. He went on all these auditions for reality TV, and he never got his dream, but he decided he was going to be famous no matter what. And what he did was he started creating this sort of false image online of who he was, like photoshopping himself in front of like a Porsche and like all over the world and doing stupid stuff like that, and then getting all these fake accounts and basically making himself look like he had all these followers when it was just him.
Yeah.
And then he ended up basically getting his fame by putting out a Craigslist ad, having a gay guy who he was going to have relations with come over and have like film a movie, but he ended up killing him and chopping him up on video. And then
Did he make love to the body
he
parts?
made love to the body parts
my God.
after cutting off some.
Although I have to
And then
defend
the
this
kid
part.
was
If you ever
the-
fucked an arm, it feels. I mean, not pretty fast. I'm not
The
pretty
inside-
fast.
This area. Bobby
Yeah,
puts his
yeah.
dick right
I'm
here,
kidding.
middle
The
of fatty
armpit.
armpit
Yeah.
area, and he's
It's
into
great.
it.
It's
But
crazy.
the kid that he killed was that exchange student from China, right?
yeah.
And his. Remember
His
the Chinese
parents?
guy. His parents didn't even know about it until like weeks later.
And they're out in China.
in
He
a
was
farm. On a farm.
Oh, wow.
Imagine you're a farm. You have because in China you can only have one kid.
Yeah.
So your one kid is in Canada. In your head, he's getting an education in Canada, and you're working. I guess they're making rice.
Yeah.
Plenty other crops, but
Rice. Let's just say rice.
okay.
Or bok
China.
Bok choy, maybe.
No, rice. Right, rice.
Rice.
Right. So they're making their little ching chong rice. right. And they're just going, oh yeah. We make a rice. You know,
Yeah. Classic. He means Filipino.
Yeah, I mean Filipino. That's what I mean. And then imagine, like, did they see it on the news or did somebody visit them?
I think they were notified through the authorities through various channels that got back. But then they were brought over to the U.S. because they had to bury their son.
But just the way, imagine hearing of the way he died.
Yeah, I would imagine they would think that that's what happens when you go to America at that point, you know.
So you saw the video.
Yeah.
And can I ask you some questions about it?
Sure. It was a while back, so I don't remember.
No,
all the
it
details,
doesn't matter. I know, it's, but do you remember just in general, were you disturbed by looking at it?
It's so graphic that it looks fake. Like, it looks like a horror movie because we're all used to seeing, like, the gore movies and stuff like that. And that looks to us, that's fake. So it looks fake. But when it's real, it actually looks fake because it's so real.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's very, very, very disturbing. There's nothing more disturbing than seeing somebody have sex with a decapitated corpse.
Oh, man. Let's talk about Jesus for a second. He's our Lord and Savior.
Say a prayer, babe.
Dear Lord, I'm grateful for everything. Thank you for having all my limbs. Thank you for having Mike here. Thank you for his flat face. Thank you. Thank you for rice farmers. Thank you for the Filipinos shitting on people's faces. Thank you for all of it. We have an ad. What's the ad?
Leesa.
We have Leesa ad. We'll be right back.
And we're also thankful for Leesa.
Leesa, we love Leesa. It's I have a gratitude list, and in my top 5 gratitude list, Leesa is on it. I've been sleeping like a baby on this mattress, guys. It's like it's the future mattress.
And tell them what kind of love we make on the mattress.
We make
babe.
bouncy sweet love.
Bouncy?
Man,
Not very bouncy.
It's not that bouncy, but my moves are sweeter. It's like 'cause
Sweeter.
the moves are sweeter in this bed because I feel more relaxed and in my own skin. It's a great sleep, man. It's deep. It's lovely. You have great dreams with it. No nightmares. Leesa Mattress, guys, tell them about it.
Remember, together with Arbor Day Foundation, Leesa plants 1 tree for every mattress they sell and are committed to planting 1 million trees by 2025. So don't miss the summer savings. Get $160 off a Leesa mattress at leesa.com/belly.
You know what also I love about trees? It's my favorite outside thing. It is. I mountains are cool, I guess.
Yeah,
Dirt
rivers-
is okay.
rivers,
but
all right.
trees are my favorite because they provide oxygen, and what Lisa's doing is a great thing. And if you like trees like the way I like trees, get a Leesa mattress because they plant them. Yeah. Anyway, Leesa Mattress, guys. It's space age. It's future. It really is the best mattress I've ever had.
Leesa.com/belly.
Welcome back.
Oh, we love
We love it.
mattress.
Whatever that. We love it. I mean,
you love sleeping on
we
it.
love it so much.
Love it.
It's one of my favorites. But anyway, do you have PTSD when you see stuff like that?
No. I think I grew up with, like I said, I grew up in Florida amongst the psychopaths. And I've always had like a low opinion about human beings in general. So nothing really surprises me. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Now, what is your theory? Do you truly believe there is something in the air in Florida that causes these types of crimes to happen more frequently there?
Humidity? I don't
Wait, in the
know.
Philippines?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said the shit thing. But my point is that no, I'll make a little argument here. I think South Florida is one thing.
Yeah.
South Florida always feels like you're in America or like a modern city. Isn't it when you go more north and in inland and more where it's more southern?
Yeah.
Is where that, like, I'm not gonna say Jacksonville, but I just said it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say Jacksonville. Yeah, and then Orlando's fine, but when you get outside of Orlando, maybe it gets
Yeah, around the Panhandle area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think in those areas it gets like trailery and stuff. Maybe is that what it is?
It
Or I
gets
don't know.
very-
Is it not just how the media portrays Florida? Like,
There's a lot of murder going down in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area.
Oh, sure,
I mean,
yeah.
that's where the Face Eater's from a few years ago.
oh, that's
Oh,
right. The
right.
guy on bath salts.
salts, yeah.
I know if you watch the show, another 48 hours. What's that?
The first 48.
First 48. It's
Yeah.
usually always in Florida for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. There's a lot
Which is,
of,
I always found that to be weird. Like, why is it always in Florida?
it's very murdery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because do you remember the Miami Improv?
Yeah.
So when I only played that room once,
Yeah.
and they had me in a hotel.
You know who I saw there?
Who?
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
OJ.
O.J. Simpson in that club?
He was there as a just sitting there, just watching the show.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been trying to get him on this podcast.
For so long.
So
But when I was at the hotel, I'd never had this happen before. The owner of the hotel walked me to my hotel room when I first checked in, and he goes, "So this street's okay? Don't go left."
Mm-hmm.
I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, just don't go down that street. And you just go right. Keep going right." I've never had that before, where it's like, "Please don't go left."
Mm-hmm.
What's that? What's on the left? Tell me what's on the left.
That's
What's
in
going on there?
Coconut Grove, and there's
Yeah.
Coconut Grove is a very rich part of town
Yeah.
that is surrounded by really, really bad parts of town, like the worst parts of town.
Oh.
And that's a lot of Miami too. Miami in general has a lot of that.
So what you're saying is in Miami there are like pockets, but around the pockets there's like little segments of bad areas.
Yeah, and it'll literally be one street where all of a sudden everything changes, and if you cross that street, you're kind of in a bad place.
Whoa. Like if I take the wrong turn, I don't know much about it. What could happen to me at night?
It's gotten a lot better in the last 10 years, let's say, but yeah, a while back
It's
it
like
was.
that in other cities. I mean, it's not like in LA you just know not to go further south beyond USC, right? Is that what it is?
Okay, I think that you're wrong there because
Okay.
I am frightened of Hollywood. I think because there's such a meth epidemic here, I'm terrified of meth heads. I don't care so much about living in the hood or living amongst like gang members or all of that. They never fuck with me.
Yeah.
Meth heads fuck with everybody.
Yeah.
They'll go speeding, on the wrong side of the road at 3 a.m. on a fucking BMX bike and fucking try to stab you while they're at it.
Yeah, but they can clean your house too. They're
They
really,
can, they
No, they can. They're really good at it.
See, because when like 2 blocks from where we live here, I never walk there alone.
Yeah.
But if you throw me anywhere else in the hood, I feel completely okay.
Yeah, I just seen too many movies, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what
I
it
think
is?
your idea of like Compton and like Watts and all of that, even though there is gang activity,
Yeah.
it's not. I think the Hollywood meth heads are far more dangerous.
I think now it's changed. I think that because you don't hear much about the Bloods and Crips because I think MS-13 now is the top dog, right? That's what I heard
in the hood.
in the hood.
I don't know what you know about the hood though.
What do you mean? You think I'm making that information up?
No. I mean, it's a big organization. Yeah.
What MS-13 is?
Yeah.
It's a very nice organization. They have great management skills.
Nice
and they
health
have,
benefits.
Yeah, they do, right? They have good.
401ks.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. What are some new up and coming serial killers I should know about? Some new kids on the block. New kids on the block. You know what I mean?
Stars.
Yeah, I like independent serial killers.
I don't think you know about them until they, perform their last act.
Right. Let me ask you this though. What's worse? I mean, they're both bad, but like if you were gonna be a serial killer, would you rather be a mass murderer or a serial killer?
Mass murderer or one-time mass murderer.
Yeah, Cho Sung-wi at Virginia Tech was a mass murderer. He did one day of hard work.
Yeah, I'm a little lazy. I think I'd want to get it all done with.
Yeah.
You want to play like games with the cops, kind of like give little clues about yourself. You want to be like the Zodiac.
That's too much work.
Yeah.
No, I want to do the other. I would probably, if I were
Clues.
I would not clues, but I would just do weird shit.
Like.
Well, I would do things like take the eyeballs out and stick it in the butt. And then they're going, what is the, they would try to analyze it.
That's just your signature move. So if like
What? No.
as they're doing the autopsy, they're like, "There's an eyeball in the butt."
Yeah.
Like this is his trademark.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee
Like
strikes
that's your
again.
trademark.
Eye butt.
Bobby Lee
Eye bu-
strikes again.
The eye butt killer.
The eye butt killer.
I
Yeah.
would love to hear you talk about
Or-
this on your podcast.
Or like, or here's another thing I would do is maybe split the body in half.
Oh my god.
Just listen.
Bobby.
Just listen. And put one of the bodies in New York and the other half in, like Singapore.
Are you mailing the body?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they go, God, they found one half of Mr. Johnson in this one area, but then if they found the other half,
But
so
there's
in their head they
there's
might.
2 eyes in the butt still.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like I want people to go. This is it alien? I mean, I want
Yeah.
the people to really.
But you won't be the first person to. I think there's
Well,
a guy
Luka
who.
also sent body
Yeah,
parts
body
that he cut up
parts,
to the
yeah.
cops.
Oh, I'm a hack.
Yeah.
You're a
Oh,
hacker.
I steal.
He's stealing from Luca. But
Yeah, but I would probably do something, but I don't know why. See, why do I even say stuff like that? I feel guilty now.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as thought crime. You're good. We just like to speculate about what kind of demons we would be.
Yeah. Let me ask you: is it hard to come? Because I listen to some of your shit, dude. It's like talking to all the professionals and producing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I listen to yours. I go, that must have taken a month.
Yeah, they used to take me a long time. Now I have a team, but it used to take 60 hours, as far as 60 hours to produce one episode.
You should do it by yourself.
Yeah, I used to do it by myself. And I had the job. I had a regular job.
Oh my god! Imagine.
Yeah.
So you had your day job, and then you use 60 hours for one episode.
Yeah.
And then when you did the first one, did you think to yourself, I can't, this is too much work?
No, I thought it was I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was worth doing. And once people actually started to listen to it, then I was like, oh, now I got to keep doing this. But then 2 years in, when you've been doing this and not making a penny from it, there was a point where I was like, I have to either make money off of this or I'm going to quit it because it's too much.
Well, so let me ask you this. So you do two years of it.
Yeah.
You're getting people listening, right?
People started listening about 9 months into the first year.
9 months into the first year.
Because Serial came out.
Serial came out. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So Serial came out, and then now 2 years in, you have a fan base, but you're not making any money.
That's right.
And then you're going, what do I do? And then how did you just got ads like we did, or what'd you do?
I tested it out with like an Indiegogo campaign, and we made almost $30,000. And I was like, well, maybe this could be something I can do.
Wow.
And then I still waited another 8 months after that before I finally started a Patreon. And then eventually I got on Wondery and started selling ads. But that was a long ways in. There's a lot of work behind. A lot of these guys now start a podcast and they think they're going to get rich overnight, and it doesn't work that way.
No, we were.
Unless you're already like a massive name like Chris D'Elia. Like he was good from the start, but it took us a while too.
Did you guys hear the Chris D'Elia podcast he did about my podcast?
No.
Which one?
It's called Yum. He makes fun of the computerized voices talking about eating little kids from episode 20.
Yeah.
And he does the voice so real that the first time I heard it, I was like, is he playing that? What is he using to generate that voice?
Wow.
Yeah,
Have you met him yet?
I haven't met him in person, but we've Twittered, DM'd
I feel like you're
back.
going to one day do an episode about him, too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that on group content in front of everyone. There's a couple of whites in comedy. There's a couple of whites in comedy that if it came out, I'd be like, yeah.
Not surprised.
Theo Vaughn, another one. Yeah.
You wouldn't be surprised. I'd be so surprised if
I
you
actually-
did anything.
It's
Eric
funny
Griffin, for sure.
It's funny you say that because I sent him a bunch of like people's eyes that like 4 of them were serial killers and one was his.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, totally.
Really? Yeah. But here, that's an example, though. He's an example of, because of his upbringing, he would never do it. Because I know his family. There's so much love there, and there's just a lot of. It reminds me of like my family. Just
Now, speaking of that, do
Yeah.
you believe that the murderous gene can be embedded in somebody's
Yeah, I think
makeup?
there's definitely a psychopathic genetic makeup. We actually just talked to Dr. Drew about this yesterday. What makes up a psychopath? And it was like it's a sort of a genetic thing that happens. The brain isn't formed properly, like physically, and so there's some people are just born that way, and they're born evil to be evil, basically. Although a lot of people can, with the right support and the right family structure and love, can sort of work their way out of it and still be productive members of society, but they still don't have any empathy for anyone. They
Right.
fake the empathy.
Right, and they don't have that remorse, and they
Yeah.
just kind of
They sort of know
cold-blooded.
they know what you're supposed to do, and they just kind of act their way through life, just to not be.
it's like gays 100 years ago where they got married and had children, but they fake through it.
Do you ever feel like you empathize with some of these psychopaths where you're like, hey, I kind of feel for this person, even though they, severed and fucked this person's head.
Whoa, babe, just say kill.
Yeah, I know.
Murder.
Yeah.
Just say
Really
murder. It's
intense over
fine.
there,
You know,
Khalyla.
that's very specific.
I hope so, because the way that I want to tell these stories is so that the audience does sort of see some sort of hint of themselves in not just the victim, but the killer as well. There's a Ricardo Lopez series of videos that we put out on Patreon. Ricardo Lopez was this guy that wanted to kill Bjork.
Yeah, I love him. I mean, big fan. No, I love him because he wanted to make the booklet, right?
He made the booklet.
He made the booklet, and he had
And
the
he
book
put
with the
the little
button, with the
needle.
AIDS button.
The AIDS button.
Oh,
The
he's my
AIDS button.
favorite. I love his work.
I love
Creative. Look, Ricardo Lopez.
His pictures are creepy.
Yeah.
He's heavy set, right?
No.
He has.
If he lost some weight, he'd be cute.
cute.
He'd test well.
He's dead, right?
He'd be mouth shittable.
Yeah, for sure.
So he has 10 videos that he put out that
Yeah.
he basically bought a video camera just for this to tape himself leading up to it. And there's 10 videos that are each 2 hours long, and I watched all of them.
Yeah, you can see him on YouTube still.
Yeah, well, not all of them. I have the whole thing. Which,
Whoa,
yeah.
you have like the Blu-ray disc.
There's
with
one
the
where
extra features.
There's one where like he misses, like he's waiting for some Bjork appearance on some TV show, and this is before DVRs and shit like that. So
Yeah.
he's waiting for this the whole time, and then he screws up and he misses it. So in order to punish himself, he gets in front of the camera and shows his ass pimples to the camera
Oh shit.
as like a self-humiliation thing.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But there's
weird.
after watching so many hours of this guy, you start to kind of like almost empathize with him because he's not a dumb guy. He talks about himself being stupid, but he's very, very intelligent to be able to put this thing together, and he has sort of like an artistic sort of way about going about it. And the more he talks about himself, the more you kind of like start to empathize. But then you go, oh yeah, he tried to kill someone.
I don't have any empathy. I'll tell you why. The reason why he wanted to kill her in the first place is why. Because he was looking at a magazine with Bjork in it, and she was with a black guy.
Right.
And this dude is so racist that in his head he goes, "That's right. Now she has to die."
Yeah,
She
but
has
also
to
what
die."
he was saying earlier, his brain probably didn't develop properly. He probably
No
lacked
shit.
all of
No
those
fucking shit,
proper
baby.
wirings to make sense or reason with things that are normal.
So he
What I'm saying is,
This fool-
even though someone
this
even though someone is pure evil and they were born with missing wirings in their brain, do we have it in our hearts as full brain people to empathize with the fact
No.
that they were born that way because they didn't have a
fu-
choice, right?
This Cha-Cha, I'm gonna listen.
Chicha.
This Chicha, right? He sees the black guy in Bjork, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, she's gonna die. And then this is what his thing was. Do you know what he was gonna make? Did he make it?
So he
Tell him what
he was going to
making.
make an AIDS bomb, which was basically some sort of book.
A
It looked
marketing
like,
book.
It looked like a book that she would get, some sort of publicity PR thing that was going to be very crafty. It was going to have like velvet or orange velvet with gold and all this, and then it would have like a series of buttons, and you push the buttons to open it,
Yeah.
and then it would stab you with needles full of AIDS that he would get from a hooker. Apparently, he thought he
Yeah.
could do that.
So what I'm saying is that
Gosh.
is that.
He didn't-
First of all, if I get a package in the mail, a publicity package, like here's a prototype, and I look at buttons, just listen, right? And there's little holes in the buttons, right? I'm not gonna stick my thumb and press it. I'll probably go in the outskirts and see what sticks out of that thing.
Yeah. You tilt the.
And if little AIDS needle sticks out,
Yeah.
oh my god, imagine.
he ended up changing his mind because it was going to be too complicated. So he ended up going.
Really?
No
Yeah.
shit.
It's pretty easy.
It's like very Mr. Gadgety.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones over here.
Yeah.
So he basically built an AIDS bomb. He MacGyvered himself an AIDS bomb out of the same sort of concept of book that would open up and it would spray you in the face with AIDS. He actually tests the AIDS on like a slice of pizza at one point, which is fun to
No.
watch. Not the AIDS, the acid.
Oh, the
Test
acid.
the acid on a slice of pizza to see if it destroys the pizza. And
Oh
then-
my God.
No, it's the wrong type of acid. He's got to go get a different type of acid.
Oh
And,
my god, imagine this
yeah.
guy. But Bjork never.
She never got the package.
She never.
They
Also
inter- Here's-
She never even saw him. Right.
Here's his mistake. He got so nervous once he sent the package that he was just going to off himself immediately. He wasn't going to wait to see what would happen. So he basically killed himself that night. And because of that, the body basically rotted for a few days, and blood started dripping down through the ceiling into the apartment downstairs. And when they complained, the cops came out and they went in and they found the body, and then they found the videotapes, which he confesses to doing everything.
I didn't know that part though.
Maybe we shouldn't open our own packages anymore.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get packages. I think that would scar me for life.
Oh, for sure.
If they found that a fat like Mexican dude back up there,
Or just blood in general.
like Gabriel
dripping
Iglesias
from
is up there, just dead, dripping. Well, he's a friend. I can say that.
No, I'm just.
I've
like,
been
Yeah.
to the-
Why am I fucking up? Look at your eyes right now. Everything I'm saying is wrong.
It's like I feel like you play this like, oh, I'm super cool with dead bodies and I'll watch beheadings and, fucking watch Dwyer off himself. Yeah, cool. I bet you fucking anything that if we were to ever see a real body, I feel like you'd pass out instantaneously and you'd like run screaming the other direction. And
Oh, yeah.
I'd be left to clean the thing.
Wait, did you guys kill the person? Why
Oh, if you and I killed it?
You'd be like, babe!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you would have to do the cleanup
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that
I
stuff.
know.
Yeah.
I know. You and I
No,
could never
I
be
would no. If I saw a
together.
dead body, like in that way, like the photos you showed me, I would probably have to go to hospital and get locked away. I would really be really traumatized by it. Like in any kind of war, even when World War II, I'd be one of those guys that just ended up in an
a
asylum.
deserter.
No, I wouldn't. No, I would fight because I'm an American citizen and I'm a warrior, and I'm proud of my country.
Duh.
You fucking asshole.
Okay.
Whoa.
Right?
But
I would fight like an American, not like the Philippines where we just get taken over
oh my
by other countries. You know
god.
what I mean? And act like victims. You know what I mean? I'm a man. Anyway,
You just act like 14 nationalities.
I'm totally kidding. You guys, don't. What is that?
This is a great segue.
Blue Apron, guys, we love it. Delicious. Blue Apron, belly fun for my belly. I love it, guys. When I come home from a hard day of no work, I don't really have a job, but when I come home from no work and I'm hungry and I come home and I want something fresh, I go, what did we have? She goes, Blue Apron. I get really excited because she makes it. My girlfriend makes it. It's easy to make. The ingredients are very simple, but also exotic. Sometimes the meals are.
Yeah, like for instance, like I like it because I have the Blue Apron app and I can see ahead of time what I'll be making next week. And next week on the menu, I'll be making tandoori chicken and also a barramundi with caper sauce.
I love it. I don't even ask what it is because it's like usually I go, oh, I'm in for I like I want Mexican tonight. But with Blue Apron, it's like it doesn't matter what it is because it's going to be great. And I always feel full. I always feel like it's healthy. I never get a tum ache. It really is a great service.
And they're really fun to
It's
cook.
it's fun to cook and it's also very convenient. So if you guys are if you're busy people like I'm not, and you have a full life which I don't, right? And you're busy and you come home. It's easy to make. It's convenient. It's fresh. They got great selection. I really highly recommend Blue Apron, folks, okay?
So check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free at blueapron.com/belly. That's blueapron.com/belly to get your first 3 meals free. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
I love it. It's such good products. But and
You
all
know
this
what? The Philippines has a really hot serial killer,
who?
Andrew Cunanan,
Oh, we're
the guy
talking
of Gianni Versace's killer.
Conan's great.
I met Versace.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, but I ruined the story by telling you that. So I was in a
Edit that out. Now continue.
Well, imagine if Sixth Sense started like that.
yeah.
Bruce Willis is really dead.
I'm
in
dead,
the beginning.
kid.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
dead.
Yeah,
Just
and
pretend I didn't say that.
Then,
Yeah.
then the whole movie starts.
Just pretend I didn't say that at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So I was in a band when I was
Dog, when you sit there, it makes me want to laugh.
What kind of music?
He was in a band, this guy.
What kind of music?
They were called the Gaps because of his teeth.
oh no.
Him, Letterman was in it.
Khalyla?
Yeah,
I'm in it.
Khalyla's
Madonna,
in it. Yeah,
Madonna.
Madonna's in it.
Oh yeah, no. So I was in a band, and I used to write my own songs and stuff. And I had a buddy who was also a singer-songwriter. We both played guitar. One Friday, we were like, "What are we gonna do?" We go out, and we decided to go out to South Beach, and just go out and jam on the sidewalk. We'd never done that before. Open the cases and see if anybody comes by and drops $1 in or something. And it was fun. We were having a good time. There's people coming by and, dropping $1 or $2, maybe some change in the guitar case. And this really nice Mercedes pulls up, like top of the line, really nice Mercedes. This old guy gets out, walks up to the case, and drops 50. Wow. And then gets back in the car and takes off. And we're just sitting there. I'm sitting there strumming still. We're in mid-jam.
Yeah.
And I look over to my buddy, and he looks over at me. And he gives me a look, and I give him a look. And like, did you see that? And we're done, and the crowd kind of disperses. And I look at him, and I say, did you see that? We just, just gave us 50. And he goes, do you know who that was? And, being a heterosexual male, I did not know who he was.
Yeah.
And he goes, that was Versace. That was, and it turns out we were actually standing on the very spot where he would be shot a year and a half later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's put chills down my spine. And so that guy, Andrew Cunanan, is from San Diego. You know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from. He went to Bishop High School, private school in La Jolla.
And he was a good-looking guy.
He was a cutie patootie. Yeah, and that's crazy. Why did he die? Also,
Was that a downer? That story was a downer.
Yeah, you know what it is though, because it was real to you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about it. I was really invested in what you're saying. At first, I was like laughing because you were in a band and you were singing.
It's reminding
But then,
me.
like once I accepted that part, right. I moved on from it.
That's the funny part of the story.
But when the end was actually really kind of just really weird.
Well, the funny part is when he got shot right on the steps to his front door, and it's made of coral, like that old school coral that's very porous.
Mm-hmm.
So the bloodstain was there for well over a year.
Oh my God!
Tourists walking up and down the street on Ocean Drive would see the bloodstain, and they'd come and they'd take pictures in front of it and selfies and whatnot. So that was a little more disturbing than anything else.
I also want to ask you about Canada, the laws there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we listened to one, the Chinaman that was in the bus.
Vince Lee.
Yeah, Vince.
You know his name?
Yes.
Vince Lee. So let me get this straight. If you guys don't know Vince Lee, he's Chinese. He was on a Greyhound bus,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a white kid sleeping there. Like he was leaning against the window sleeping.
Yeah.
And the Chinese dude just out of nowhere decides, I want to eat him?
He starts stabbing him first.
Right, so yeah.
Yeah. Large knife almost decapitates him with this very large knife he just had in his
And he was
jacket.
sleeping, this kid, though.
The kid was sort of like, sleeping, wasn't really paying attention, and he was kind of trapped because he's in the window seat and Vince Lee's in the aisle seat.
So the bus pulls over. Now, people are running out of the bus.
People run out of the bus, yeah.
And Vince now has the kid's organs in his hands.
Well, he keeps stabbing him until he basically almost cuts off his head. He starts stabbing him in different places and cutting open, ripping different parts off. He starts eating parts of him. He takes parts of him and puts them in his pocket for later. Nice little yummy snack.
Yeah.
And and everybody runs outside and they try to block the door. At one point, he tries to get out, but they're blocking the door to keep him in there until some help can come. And so he goes back to the bodies, keeps stabbing him, decapitates the head completely, and then throws the head into the well of the bus. As like the steps coming in at the people that are holding the door shut.
Oh my God. And then, oh my God. So they arrest him.
Yeah, it took hours.
Right, because people were afraid to
get
get him in, go in there, right?
Yeah.
I think the first responder too. Like, didn't he kill himself?
There was one of the first responders committed suicide about a year and a half later.
Why?
He couldn't deal with
'Cause he
like
couldn't
the
deal with
PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So is this true though? After that, the mom of the kid found out that he went shopping somewhere.
What she said, it was basically the bus had a stop.
No, what I'm saying
that
is that the Chinese got arrested, but didn't he get like
Yeah, he
leave, or he was able to get out of
he
prison?
was able to change his name and then
Yeah, I think he
got
was
released, right?
He was only held for about 10 years, and it was mostly in a psychiatric hospital, and they gave him more and more release for time and freedoms, and like first it was supervised, but then after a while it was unsupervised.
But also, didn't they allow him to change his name?
Yes,
and his
Canada
identity?
does that.
Yeah.
The first story we ever did was Bruce Blackman, another schizophrenic
Yeah.
that murdered his whole family, and they did the same thing for him. He's basically protected by the courts by not only do you get out, and after killing a bunch of people, but they'll actually protect you by changing your name and your identity.
Well, it sounds
That
like this
is
Vince Lee
absolutely
guy had
insane.
like a psychotic break, right?
Yeah.
No.
I know, but how do the courts how are they so sure that he's going to abide by his medication regimen, that he's going to stick to all of that this never
not.
happens again? So there's no assurance then.
None.
Because let me tell you something, like, I had an uncle, my uncle in the Philippines
Here we
killed
go.
my other uncle, broad daylight.
With a machete.
With
broad
a machete,
daylight.
severed his spine and everything.
Oh wow.
And the reason I asked you if you had like empathy for some of these people is because I had empathy for him. I grew up. He's my sister's godfather. I had such great memories of him growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But he got released. He's released now. He's free. He only was in prison for, let's say, I think 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I find him to be still scary.
You can have empathy, but these people still need to be locked up.
He is
You
scary.
can have
to me.
empathy for them, but they don't belong in society.
Yeah, I think once you do something like that, and I'm not saying that they should be in a maximum prison situation, where maybe they could create a system, a prison system where it's far more open, and there are just more things to do. You can get a job. There's just they maybe build like a little fake Starbucks. where they can pretend they can, I'll have a, double cap.
It's just water.
You know what I mean?
Just water.
Yeah, with almond milk, so they can just pretend that they're in society. And then give them like television and like a DVD. Maybe we could have Blockbuster Video. We have a little Blockbuster Video there. Bring that back, so they can rent stuff. No murder. There's only like romance,
Rom-coms.
and fantasy.
Yeah.
I wonder what the statistic is for Canada for people like committing crimes again, people that they have re-released or released back into society.
They're just very sort of the whole justice system seems to be very hell-bent on letting dangerous criminals out. Did you ever see Dear Zachary?
Yes.
No,
That's one of our
that
favorites.
was. I was gonna.
Newfoundland, yeah.
Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
That
How do you
was.
say
Let
that?
me just say something. I'm gonna look at you right now, man.
Oh God,
Let me say something to you, man.
So
all right?
close.
I'm so close to
he's
you.
very uncomfortably.
But what I'm going to
close.
say to you right now is this, all right? And everyone listening, it is imperative that you see the documentary, Dear Zachary. It's one of the best. Because it is so... I've never felt so angry after a fucking documentary.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
Not only I cried, there's like... I Googled the judge. I Googled, like, Canada law. I try to, like, go, what the fuck is up with that?
Yeah.
But I don't want to give anything away because I want people to watch this documentary. Basically, the documentary is about a guy that dies, and his friends, his real friends, are making initially a documentary about his life to show his son Zachary. That's the initial purpose of. So when you first see it, it looks like a home video. Just friends going, yeah, so and so, we love him, and this, and then it just kind of turns toward the end, and it just becomes more shocking, and it's unbelievable, really, Canada.
Yeah.
And I love listen, we have a lot of TigerBelly listeners that are from Canada. No, but you guys are. I'm a liberal. You guys are open. You really, when I do shows there, it reminds me of the old days of SF. San Francisco used to be the best place to perform because it was just so rowdy and raunchy, and some parts of Texas is like that. But I love Canada's audiences, and for the most part, I relate to you. In fact, I would even move to Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
I really would. That's how much I love Canada. But some of those laws are fucked up. If you eat somebody, this should be a universal law. If you kill an innocent person and you eat them, you should be in prison for life.
Well, don't they? If somebody falls into an enclosure at the zoo and the animal kills them, they put down that animal, right?
Which I don't agree with.
I don't agree with it either because it's doing its animal thing.
That right there is what. Hey kid, what are you doing in the gorilla's nest?
Yeah, you don't belong there, kid.
Yeah,
Get out.
and if you're gonna get mauled, I was rooting for the gorilla when that happened. Well, you had to cut that out.
No.
Well, we're not cutting that part out.
No, No.
There was some. Wait, let me just say
You
something.
can be Team Gorilla. That's fine.
When the kid fell in the thing, raise your hand. Who are you rooting for, the kid or the gorilla? Raise your hand, gorilla.
I was rooting for the gorilla to be alive and for the kid to be alive.
Yeah, I was rooting for
both.
I know, but
You're like, kill the kid.
No, that kid has to die. It's
Kid has
got to
to
die.
die.
Yeah.
no, if somebody was gonna win or lose, right? So raise your hand, gorilla.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
What's
Raise
that?
your hand, kid.
I'll do
Raise
kid.
your hand,
I'll
kid.
Split.
Kid.
I'll split.
Split kid.
And
Be
George
kid?
has to break it.
All right. Well, you're not animal lovers.
Why do you hate gorillas so much?
We're animal lovers.
You're right. I love humans too much.
Yeah.
How old was the kid? Do you remember?
5.
6, yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Yeah.
contributed,
Dispensable.
Yeah.
contributed to society yet.
And I'm gonna say something, and you're gonna have to cut this out. Yeah, I'm gonna say something. You're gonna have to cut it out. Can you? All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say it, and you cut it. Gorilla 1, human 0.
Yes.
Well, let's just say that.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's actually human 1.
Yeah, because
well,
they
did the kid
killed-
die? Well, they both died, right?
No, the kid did not die.
Well, what's the gorilla's name?
Harambe.
Harambe. Oh. Yeah,
That was Mike's band.
Yeah.
We are the Zomzoms.
But Harambe became infamous
Yeah.
and viral, and
Yeah.
memes were made of him.
Yeah. Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
You don't cut this part out. Don't cut this part out, all right?
no.
Yeah. But babe, just all right, just bear with me, okay?
Say it, please.
Bear with me.
Right?
Mike, listen to me, okay?
Mike's so like, what's gonna happen?
Listen
Oh,
to me.
no.
Do you find that, and this is a real question, then we both know that when it comes to serial killers or weird things like that, murder and whatnot, it doesn't matter what color you are. There are black people that kill. There are Asians that kill.
Yep.
Cubans that kill, whites, down the line. But do you think that whites take it to the next level? Like, for instance, you can't cut. You don't
Did
have
you
to cut
just shaka George when he said that?
that out. Yeah, George just shotgunned when I just said that.
Wow.
Whites
He went,
take
he
it-
went, he went like that.
White takes it to the next
It was
level.
just fucking crazy.
I'll
But
tell you.
yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. So, this is interesting because I was talking to a psychologist recently who said that. So for some of the really, really fucked up mental illnesses like paranoid schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, those are the ones that can be dangerous at some point. And again, not for the vast majority of people, but a small percentage.
Right.
The percentage is larger in that group than it is in the general population.
and that's a statistic.
Right.
It's a fact.
So
Okay, move on.
So here's the funny thing. So paranoid schizophrenics think that there's a voice talking to them, telling them to do things, right? And in certain parts of the world, like India and parts of the Pacific, probably where they shit in mouths, there's people who, the people that are schizophrenic, the voice that they hear is actually telling them nice things. It's telling them like positive things, to do positive things like do your chores and clean your house and things like that. But in the States, overwhelmingly negative, murderous, violence,
Hallucination.
things like that. And I don't know why that is. It's
I can already tell you what it is.
It's this country.
It's a culture.
No, I can tell you what it is right now. And this is, and I've said this before, I think. Okay, but I haven't said it in a long time. You're not have to cut this out.
You're looking at me in certain ways.
No, because if you look at like Sweden's history, they've had like 5 serial killers throughout their whole history. All right, you look at any other, like Thailand's had 6 or something throughout their history. Serial killers is what I mean specifically. Okay, America has thousands a year. Thousands a year. I mean, if you look at Wikipedia, there's pages and pages and pages and pages and pages. I mean, it goes on and on.
well, you're not talking about just serial like mass shooters and stuff.
All of it.
Okay.
I'm putting it all in one clump. You know what I mean? We're the kings of it, and in Western societies, and I'll tell you the reason why. And this is a theory, is I believe it has something to do with Christianity. Christianity, just listen to me. Just listen. The whole idea of demons, evil, devil, it's in the folklore of the Bible, right? So people, it's in our movies, it's in our culture, you know, demons, the devil. And in some other cultures, that's not in it.
Yeah, but using that theory, why is it
Pacific,
that...
yeah.
Yeah, like he just mentioned India and the Philippines. Philippines is the most devout Catholic, like deeply ingrained with demons and all that stuff that you just talked about.
You know what
Your
really
uncle
is?
just chopped somebody up, his other brother, with a fucking machete. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, like, he's not having auditory hallucinations. He did it in a survival rage.
I think it's cultural, though. I think that has a lot to do with it.
It is cultural.
And I think it has to do with also Hollywood and a lot of things.
That's what I was
Yeah,
going
I
to say.
think that
Hollywood
makes
more.
more
That's what I was gonna
sense.
say.
That
No.
theory makes
I think
more
it's all a
sense.
part of it. I really do believe Christianity has something to do with it. Religion.
We're just inherently violent. Or we consume violence on a daily basis in all entertainment mediums. I mean, it's part of our culture.
But I mean, Sweden's, they play Fortnite. They get Sweden's they get the same move. Sweden's they get the same things that we get. Maybe it's something that, but there is something about America that stirs that.
Yeah,
pot.
I think that his theory of just like consuming violence on a daily basis is a lot more like plausible.
No, I think religion.
Because religion is so widespread.
The devil, demons. Just the idea of that.
There is a lot of people with like paranoid schizophrenia do get fixated on a lot of like very biblical things.
That's what
biblical and political things.
Yeah,
like
political
those
too.
those two things are very much ingrained in like paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah.
They say demons made me do it. I was hearing demon voices.
Yeah.
The devil.
Political too,
All these
because they're
things.
always like, they're looking, they're watching us. The FBI, see, like there is a lot of
Yeah,
that
the president
too.
was talking to me through the television,
Right.
telling me to
Right,
do
right.
things.
But imagine living in a culture where there was no devil. There's no demons. That idea is completely foreign.
Is there a culture like that?
There probably is.
Like where?
Iceland.
Is that a fact?
No, I just made it
I
up.
was like, you said it with so much conviction. I was like,
No, I just,
actually
I
made
just
me
completely
consider.
made it up. How about? I would say Okinawa.
Yeah, but
Okinawa. Okinawa.
Are they-
Okinawa. I love saying that word.
So you're at a spelling bee.
Okinawa.
Okinawa.
We say it in a sentence.
Yeah, it's like,
You know,
you, Mike.
you know what? I get wild with you. That is, dude. No, I really, Mike.
He's really close again.
Can I say something right now? The reason why I am the way I am right now about all this stuff is because the subject matter is so fucking crazy.
You have to be able to have some sense of humor in it.
Yeah,
because
but I think I'm
otherwise-
going a little too far with it.
Yeah.
But
Coping, yeah.
we'll have to
I
listen
think
to
also just talking about it the way we do, which is like with a half giggle,
Yeah.
makes it not real in our heads.
Yes.
If we're able to compartmentalize it a little bit better, so when we see a dead body, I don't put it in the corner of my head that's reality. It doesn't seem real, and that's like a protective thing for me.
Yeah, when you think about how many people consume true crime podcasts
Yeah.
or true crime TV shows as entertainment on a regular basis, but there's real people involved, real tragedies, real death that is very real to those families.
Yeah.
I want to focus on love. I want to focus on helping other people. You know what I mean? Like, Mike, if you were damaged in some way, if we were in a war together, you were damaged in some way, your leg was all
Mangled?
mangled up. I'd like to carry you, man, to the zone, the good zone, the doctor. You see the medic, and then I like hold you. You're looking at me like, am I gonna live? give my mom this letter. Or they sometimes do that, and the letter's got like blood on it.
Yeah.
I go, no, Mike, you're gonna give that letter yourself. That's what I would say to you.
Right.
Is he like Lieutenant Dan?
No, just listen to it. No, this is a fantasy. And then Mike, like, he's trembling, and he's like looking at me, and he's wide-eyed, and he's looking at me, and I could just put my hand on his head and wipe, the sweat,
The blood.
and go, look at me, man. You're gonna be okay. And then we go to the medic, and then like a year later, I see him at some VA hospital in Virginia, right? And he's got no legs, right? He's in a little machine.
So why didn't you talk to me for a year?
Because I'm still in the war.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still in the war. I come back, I visit you, right? And you're just like
Do you
a
have-
head, half a torso.
Do you have
And you have what?
Do you have like a fledgling shrimp company at this point?
No, it's not Forrest Gump.
Are you going to go on a sailboat with Lieutenant Dan?
That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. Right? I would go, you want to live with me, Mike? You go, okay. Because his voice is half gone. You go, okay, I will. Right?
Did he get struck by lightning?
Yeah.
Struck by lightning. Yeah.
And since he's just a head, half a torso, and an arm, I just grab him by the back of the neck and I walk around with him. Right? And you go, what? Where am I gonna live in your house? I go, you don't get a room, right? You're so small. You just live in this cabinet. So I have like this little cabinet. It's good, air conditioned.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? You get like a little iPad. That's your TV. That's your widescreen. That's your big TV. Right?
I
You don't
didn't
have to
shrink
pay for
in
it.
size.
Yeah, it's still the same head.
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
did.
change.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Your head
The
strike.
sun out in the war zones,
Struck your
it
head.
just struck your head in a way where it shrunk it a bit,
Okay.
right?
I met a guy who got struck by lightning. I met him at a party, and I was drunk. And then when he introduced himself, like
You blew him. I know the story.
I didn't.
Wait, what?
I know the story, babe.
No, but he did sound like that. Like that voice he just did.
Yeah.
Like his name. He goes, "My name is Tata." Like he did I swear to
His name was
God.
Papa?
No, Tata.
Tata?
Yeah, but he had like a little like throat thing going like Tata, like that.
Mike, how's your puss situation?
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
You killing the game or what? You hitting that shit or what? How's your game?
It's all right.
You should be ripping it right now, man.
Really?
Yeah. You should be in the.
I must be doing something wrong.
No, are you dating anybody or what? What?
No, I got out of a relationship a few months ago.
Did she leave you?
She did.
Is it because of what you do for a living?
No, it's weird. I get into these relationships where like I'll fall madly in love with one person and they end up having issues of their own and ending and breaking my heart. And then I'll just go out with somebody. I'll rebound for like 5 years with somebody after that.
That's a long rebound.
Yeah. I just don't know how to do it right. And then I'll fall into crazy in love with some other psychopath. So that's usually what happens.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Who you choose as your partner.
Yeah, I'm terrible with relationships. I'm pretty good at the podcast.
You think that?
Are you better with people who do you find yourself falling harder for people who have a higher ability to hurt you?
I seem to really like independent, strong women that seem to have a lot of internal issues.
You know why?
If you were going to produce a movie
Yeah.
about a killer that people aren't really aware of, what would be your number one thing right now? It's got to be something that people aren't aware of, but that is something that could turn into a movie or that's interesting.
Yeah. So I think it would be the pictures I showed you before we started here.
Yeah.
That guy, his name's Matthew Hoffman, and I'm actually writing a book right now, which is a series of short stories, and the first story I wrote was about him.
Can you talk about Matthew Hoffman
I
now or
can.
no?
Yeah. He
Explain to me, Matthew.
he was a weirdo. He was a tree climbing weirdo. He would climb trees and hang out in the woods, and he would like kind of like spy on like little kids that were in the neighborhood and stuff. He was a weird guy.
Well,
But
look, can I ask, what would he be wearing up there? Like
just camouflage gear usually.
Oh my
Like
God.
Matthew Hoffman.
How old?
he was young and he was actually very good looking, believe it or not. He's probably in his late mid-20s, something like that.
Yeah. Can I look him? I'm gonna want to see what he
Yeah.
looks like. So Matthew Hoffman.
Matthew Hoffman.
Yeah. So
And he was obviously very sick though. He thought this tree out in the middle of the woods was talking to him. That it spoke to him and told him to do things again, paranoid schizophrenia. But this was this very large American beech tree that had died sort of, and it had the interior of it was hollow at this point, but it was still standing for a long time. And he decided to appease the tree by murdering a bunch of people and
He's
bringing
cute.
the body parts. He's a good looking
he's
guy,
cute.
right?
Let me see. Oh yeah.
Handsome. Man.
yeah, very handsome.
Yeah.
So
Would you shit in his mouth?
I would.
So the tree
Yeah.
said to him what?
So the tree was we don't know what the tree said to him exactly, but we know that even in prison, when he was imprisoned afterwards, he told an inmate that he was in with that the tree had talked to him, and that trees could talk to him and he could hear things they said. But anyway, so he breaks into this family's house. He murders a woman and her friend and her son, who was only 10 years old. Oh. And he abducts the girl who was 13. Oh. And he uses her for sex in his dungeon. He puts her in his basement. Oh my God. And keeps her there tied up with zip ties and stuff, and raping her and stuff.
Oh
and
my God.
He goes to Walmart, gets a bunch of plastic bags and tarps, and he cuts up the body
of the little 13-year-old girl.
No, of the mom, of the friend, and the boy. And he also kills the dog. And he cuts it in basically dissects the whole thing, cuts up each body and body parts, and sticks it down this tree.
He hollows out a
feed
tree
it, to almost like offer it
to feed the tree. Yeah.
Was he hollows out the tree? Because I just
the tree was already hollow. It had just died and it hollowed out somehow.
And so he made a little hole in the tree, because I saw a little hole.
No, the hole the cops made to take the body parts out.
How did he put the stuff in the tree then?
He climbed the tree. The hole was in the top. He climbed the tree.
Oh my God.
20, 30 feet up, and then he built a pulley system to hoist up the body parts and drop them down the tree.
Intricate.
Nobody would have ever found that.
Of course
if he
not.
hadn't told him.
Like, that tree smells.
Yeah.
Like.
So then, how did he get caught? I mean, what happened to the 13-year-old girl?
So the cops, it's an amazing story of how they figured this out. So basically, the woman didn't go to her job that day. Neither of the women went to the job. The other woman was a neighbor just down the street, and she never came home. So they called the cops. The cops came out to the house. They couldn't go in the house. They just did welfare checks for a few days. But then one of the coworkers came out, basically broke into the house and found blood. So then she called the cops, and now that she's found blood, they can go inside. So the cops can't even do anything, first of all. So they go inside. They find blood coming from different spots in the house, and then streaking into the bathroom, which is apparently where he cut up the bodies. Yeah. In the garage, they find the neighbor woman's car, which was weird that it would be inside the garage, because they didn't use the garage anyway. Yeah. And next to the car, they found a Walmart bag with some tarps and a half-used roll of plastic bags. It didn't have a receipt, but they were able to go to the Walmart and get video footage and find a guy, and also look at the receipts in the register to figure out who had bought tarps and plastic bags of that particular brand. And they were able to sort of go backwards, and then they basically went to the cameras outside. They saw the guy that had bought those things getting into his car, read the license plate, pulled it right up in the DMV.
And then they find him at home?
They go to his house, and they find him sleeping on his couch in the living room. And here's the fucked up part. This guy was really off his rocker. The middle of the living room where he's sleeping on the couch, right in the middle of the living room, there's a big plastic tarp, and on top of it, a 3-foot pile of leaves, dried leaves, like 8 to 10 feet across, 3 feet high. When the cops first come in, he's asleep. They arrest him and stuff, but then they look at the pile of leaves, and they're not sure if there's somebody hiding there to ambush them. So, they start poking at it carefully while having their guns drawn. And eventually they find like a padlocked door that leads down into a basement. And in the basement, there's sort of like a crack in the wall that leads to another sort of basement area. It's really creepy when you see the pictures, but it's all an unfinished basement, and it's super dark. And then they find a bed and a little 13-year-old girl.
Alive?
Oh,
thank God.
Yeah. Here's the sad part of the story. Once they rescued her, they brought her back. Now her mom's dead, her brother's dead. Yeah. She gets finally put into custody of her father, and her father ends up abusing her a year later and ends up going to jail for it. So she got abused on top of that.
God.
You okay?
Oh, horrible. Sounds like almost like a sick Alice in Wonderland.
I don't think that should be a
fantasy
movie.
this kid had.
Not a good movie, man.
Yeah.
I see 3-camera sitcom.
Okay.
You're so dumb.
Let's make it
Maybe
a sitcom.
a rom-com?
ABC, rom-com.
Yeah, because this doesn't feel like it's so
dark.
So dark.
It is very dark.
It's so dark. I don't understand.
I wonder what he was like in conversation. Like, did he have friends at all?
You can hear him in the interrogation tapes, although he basically, for the first almost 2 days of interrogation, he doesn't say a word. He just stares at the floor.
And his parents, any family members around him?
He had some family. It turns out that he had gotten dumped just 2 weeks before by his girlfriend after he had tried to strangle her.
Oh.
He had a live-in girlfriend, and he tried to strangle her, and she and her kid took off. And 2 weeks later, he's killing this whole family.
I know, but I always wonder, like, how do you start that obsession with trees? I know it was probably hallucination, and the tree was talking to him. But it's like, why trees?
Let's just talk about love, man.
Say a prayer.
Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, bless everyone, bless the Cubans, bless the Koreans, bless the Filipinos, and I'm being real. I love everyone. We're together, and there's a lot of good in the world. There's a lot of love in the world as well, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, Mike, if we were in the war, that's one of my things with you,
Mm-hmm.
And baby, I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And sorry for talking to you that way this morning.
Oh, can we
I was
talk
being
about that now?
I was so rude.
Boom.
Oh yeah, what happened?
I don't know really what.
supposed to give us an update.
She can tell you.
What was the update?
She can tell you.
This is what the world doesn't know about Uncle Chicken Chop. Uncle Chicken Chop, when we do this podcast, you guys only get a glimpse of who he is. He's funny, he's laughing, he's trying to put on a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every other time, he's an absolute asshole to me. And in the elevator today, I don't care that he talks to me a certain way while we're at home. You want to yell, you want to call me a bitch, you want to do all that, that's fine. We're in the confines of our
don't do
home,
that,
right?
That's ridiculous.
It's an abusive relationship.
It's not abusive at all.
It's not. I don't find it. It's the only way he knows how to show love, and I receive it as love. I perceive it as love.
It is
too.
love.
I'm sick in the head
It's
too.
pure
though.
love. It's
I'm
pure
sick.
love, by the way.
It's the purest.
Yeah.
It's what works for us. Whatever. It's,
If you were to sell love at a store, if you, mine's in a cabinet, it's high end.
Oh, premium.
It's high end premium love.
yeah.
And it costs a lot of money, my love. But go ahead.
but he is the grumpiest person.
Just
You
don't wake
him
me
up
up.
in the morning. It was 2 p.m.
Don't wake me up.
Anyways, we're in the elevator, and I asked him like a basic question. Did you call the realtor back? And then he goes off. I told him, I was like, oh, this so-and-so, this happened. And he's like, why the fuck? Fuck this. And there was someone else in the elevator. And he just goes off on me. And I just asked a simple, like, we need to sign signatures today. Do you know that? Fucking why? Fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't say bitch.
And then
I didn't say bitch.
I'm just clenching my jaw, just waiting for this person to exit so I can.
And she, don't talk to me like that in front of other people.
But I waited for the person because I'm like this the whole time. Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay, sweetie. Just
I'm a
calm down.
nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's what, I'm a nightmare.
The domestic abuse hotline is 188.
Mike, no. What do we have a question? You know how this works?
No.
We do a question at the end.
Okay, let's do it.
Internet question.
I'm
What
hoping,
would we at time-wise?
Over an hour.
It went well. Mm-hmm. It went real well.
unhelpful advice with Bobby, Khalyla, and Mike Boudet.
Hello, TigerBelly. I'm a guy in my early 20s, and I have an anger problem. I try to be aware when I'm being petty, and I let it go. When it gets really bad in my mind, it will go to dark places. I'll start fantasizing about torturing the other person, won't care what happens to me, and I sometimes black out from the rage. It's not until I've calmed down that I feel ashamed of myself. A couple months ago, I had a public incident and decided to change that about myself. I've been meditating and exercising to help. The anger has gotten way better, but I still get cold at times. What else can I do to channel this aggression, and is it possible to turn this into a positive personality trait? I love you guys. Kay from Toronto.
Oh, Canada.
Is it boy or girl? Boy or girl?
Yeah.
A guy.
It always is.
Do you have rage?
I do, but the podcast actually has given me a lot of patience in that. I mean, I'm Cuban. I'm hot-blooded, Hispanic boy. But the seeing the sort of ways that some of these scenarios end up when you let it go too far, when you let your anger get the best of you, is a real eye-opener, very sobering. But I think that the person that is saying that they're having blackouts because of their rage really needs to go get therapy. Mm-hmm. I mean, just trying to do meditation on your own and stuff like that is fine. You can do that. But this person really, really, and I can't stress this enough, you need to go seek some help, professional help.
Whoa. Are you saying are you saying this? Are you saying that people that have that kind of rage can't control their violence?
It sounds like he can't if he's
You're
having a
using
public.
blackouts.
He's having a public thing that all of a sudden he's embarrassed about, and he just can't control his rage. I wonder where the rage comes from. If you deal with the underlying symptoms of where that rage comes from, then you can fix the problem over time, and it will probably take some time. But you can't just be on your own suffering through this and trying to navigate it yourself. That's a mistake.
Yeah, but I have rage myself, and my rage.
You don't say.
We were on the island of Kauai, the most peaceful paradise. And he was yelling at people out the window.
He's giving me dirty looks.
No, I like you.
He had rage moments in paradise, like over the smallest little things.
No.
You're just you don't have you don't have rage. You're just impatient.
No. No. I don't have rage, but I do have moments where I snap. Even in my worst, murder is never in the thing. I would never do that.
But you don't black out, and you're easy to console. Like I can get you out of it in 40
Steve
seconds.
too. My brother Steve has the rage.
He has it much worse.
Yeah, but
than
he would
you.
never kill anybody. He's pulled knives out, but he's never put the knives inside me.
Yeah.
Which is like, but he has trying to swung knives.
Yeah. You could do a lot of damage without resorting to killing someone.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a lot of damage not just to other people but to yourself. End up in a lot of
Trouble.
trouble.
Right, like saying the wrong thing,
That
even to
too.
the wrong person. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're in a rage and you say a blackout rage, and you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and maybe that person will hurt you.
Sure.
Because you called them something.
It happens all the time in LA, like road rage, where it's
Yeah.
like they've been murders just from road rage.
Yeah.
Or parking spots.
There was a murder on Fountain. These two actors, young actors, and one of them was working, but there was two young actors. They didn't know each other, and there was a confrontation, a road rage confrontation, and one guy killed the other guy,
Shit.
and the guy's in prison for life. So yeah, it can result to that. Go to therapy, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like you would not be violent toward anybody though.
I've never been I get very, very angry at times because I have a very strong sense of justice. Like somebody's doing something wrong to me. I feel like I need to correct that, or to someone else. But I'm not like a physically violent person.
You know what, man?
Oh, he's gonna kiss you. He's gonna kiss
I'm not
you.
gonna
Too
kiss you, man.
close again.
No, it's not close. No, man. I'll say this right now.
Hold his
dude.
hand, Mike.
Oh God.
I believe that I am one of the chosen ones, and I believe that I do live in the dream, and I do touch the heavens. I do believe that I'm one with the good light. I'm a good light, and I don't like what you're accusing me of, man. Okay, I take very high offense to that, man. Right?
Are you gonna go on your?
No, because I'm pure light.
You're gonna go in your elevator angry mode.
No, man, I'm not.
Okay.
I have fantasies. Sometimes I fantasize about killing people.
Oh my God.
I do. I have fantasies of sometimes I like to sit there and lay it down in bed, and I have a fantasy of like killing. I had a fantasy once of killing a senator.
Do you really?
Oh my
For real?
God.
You're not joking around.
No, it's just a fantasy of like what I would do.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so full of shit.
Yeah. But anyway, what a great podcast.
Just leave it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah. Devin Nunes.
Devin Nunes.
That's a senator. That's his name, Devin Nunes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mike, everyone should listen to Sword and Scale.
Yes.
It really is the best out there, and you know,
I got to say one thing. Sorry. I have to say this. One of my biggest fans who's been donating on Patreon $50 a month for 3 years, ever since the very beginning of Patreon, heard about me through you guys and loves you guys. So her
Well,
name's
you've given
Tanya.
us a
That's
lot
all I
of
want to say.
content.
Tanya.
Oh,
Tanya?
Tanya.
I love Tanya.
You know her?
yeah, of
Okay,
course.
great.
Tuna?
I can't remember her last name.
That's her last name. Yeah.
Okay.
Tania, right?
Tania.
Tina,
She's the
Yeah,
best.
she's the best.
you've given us a lot of content. I think that
You have. We've talked
at
about
least like 40 of our episodes have
Murder
had
episodes.
some type
yeah,
of
you've
murder
opened my eyes
story.
to that side of the world, you know. And I think that what you're doing is it's well, you know what it is? It's well thought out, and I appreciate the research, and I appreciate the professionals that are on it, and I appreciate all that stuff. And I like your voice too on it.
Thank you.
It's nice. You really do have a real good broadcasting voice. It really is. It sounds pro.
It's not Cuban at all.
No, and also on top of it, you know, I don't know what you're doing right now in Hollywood, but the things that you're going to do, but I really think that you should think about doing television and all that kind of stuff.
We're working on a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be great. And I just hope the best for you, man. And
What
Thank
about
you,
your
Bobby.
book,
Thank
Mike?
we
You
want to
wanna
plug your
promote?
book.
Yeah.
I'm working on writing a book right now, but it's going to be a collection of sword and scale stories told in a bedtime story format. So it's like bedtime stories for adults based on true things that occur.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate that you're on this podcast with us.
I thank you so much for
Of
having me on.
course.
I've been dying to come on for
Of
a long
course,
time
Mike,
now.
Mike.
So
And you know, that fantasy about us being in the war together and you the torso and all that stuff. It's not sexual. At the end of that, man, when you live in my cabinet with the iPad, you know, there's no fucking.
oh, no fucking
Yeah.
okay.
How disappointing.
Yeah.
When he's sleeping in that fantasy, like I give him a little drug sometimes.
Oh my god.
Gosh.
I give him a little drug because you know he has a head, a torso, and one arm, and he lives in a cabinet.
That's
I give him a
somehow
little
shrunk
drug.
for some
Yeah,
reason.
You
shrunk
need
from
to
the sun.
drug him to rape him if he has no,
No, I don't
arm,
want him
no
to know.
limbs, no nothing.
I don't want him to know about it.
Oh.
And then every once in a while he goes, "I had a deep sleep. My mouth is salty."
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, give Mike a round of applause. everybody. Yeah.
Any shows for you, Bobby?
I'm
next
going to be in
week.
Portland, Oregon next week. Please come out and check it out. I have some Iranian dude opening for me. I like him a lot.
It's great.
His name is Hassan. I think he's India. Whatever. And and we got everyone here. And I think we're gonna have to cut a little bit of this up, a little bit, some of it, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things. Just, yeah. Be open to it, Gil.
Yeah.
Be open to it.
I am.
And thank you so much, guys. Yay!
Thanks again to our sponsors who help support the show. For 10% off your slim wallet, go to ridgewallet.com. Use the promo code TigerBelly. For your limited time summer savings of $160 off your mattress, go to leesa.com/belly. And finally, get your first 3 meals free. Go to blueapron.com/belly. You can follow us on TigerBelly on Instagram at TigerBelly, on Twitter at @TigerBelly, and email us any questions or helpful advice at thetigerbelly@gmail.com. Have a good night.
Wanna hear it.